Okay, I have two instrument problems on my sailboat that need to be solved. The first is the speed transducer. That's the device that measures the speed of the boat through water. Let me show it to you. Here we go. So there it is right there. So basically it's a hole through the boat under the water line with that black device attached through the hull. So here's actually what it looks like. It's like a bolt, but on this side of it, there's a paddle wheel right there that turns and it gets measured and it measures the speed. So the problem is that I'm in the Chesapeake Bay with a lot of algae. It's not pollution, it's just natural, but it clogs up the paddle wheel about once a week. So I end up having to remove this transducer to clean the paddle wheel from the inside of the boat, or I have to jump into the water and dive underneath and clean the paddle wheel from the outside. So that's just not good. I don't like that at all. So that's the first problem that needs to be fixed. So my second problem is with the depth transducer. So I have a new Raymarine display system, and as you can see here, it shows depth dash dash dash, which means the signal is not working. So the problem, so I used to have an auto helm display system with an auto helm depth transducer, and it worked 100% of the time. So when I swapped in the Raymarine display system, the old auto helm transducer made by Airmar was incompatible. So let me show you what I did about that, which didn't work, of course. I'm down below and I'm looking into the bilge, and the transducer for depth is right there. And it's not a through hole. There's no hole drilled in the bottom of the boat. It's actually mounted on top of the keel, and the sonar is designed to go through the fiberglass and reflect the bottom that way, so there's no hole needed. Now the problem with this Raymarine transducer, also made by Airmar, so I thought there'd be no problem there, is that the transducer only works when the water depth is about 20 feet or greater. So when I need it most, when it's shallow, it doesn't work. It just comes up with dash 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 for the depth. So my theory is that the new Raymarine transducer is incapable of going through all that fiberglass at a shallow depth. So if you look here, here's a plug from the engine intake, or actually it's from the exhaust shaft out there after the boat. So that plug is 1 inch thick. So I'm thinking that the fiberglass at the bottom of the keel down there, well, it's going to be at least 1 inch thick, probably more like 2 inches thick. So the new Raymarine Airmar products aren't as good as the old ones. So this is basically, it's unusable. So I need to fix that also. Okay, I'm going to make it easy on myself. So I'm at the Raymarine website. I'm looking at the P66 depth, speed, temperature transducer. So this is a self-contained unit that mounts to the back of the transom that does everything that I need. Now I'm going to have to build a special mount for it so that it extends down 4 feet 10 inches to the bottom of the keel, and it stays far enough away from the keel so that the sonar signals don't get interfered with. So if I'm looking down here and I see that it's compatible with an I-50 Tridata, that's the display system that I have. It also uses analog depth, speed, and temperature signals. So I'm thinking that what it's going to have is a cable with between 6 and 8 leads that I'll connect directly to the I-50 Tridata, rather than connecting the cable to a NEMA backbone. And so that all works for me, so that's what we're going to do. In order to install the transducer, I'll need to attach a pole to the transom, extending it down 4 feet 10 inches under the water, and attach the transducer to the bottom of the pole. The transducer needs to be level with the bottom of the keel and run down alongside the keel. This way the keel will not block the sonar signal. The transducer will also need to be parallel to the sea bottom so the signal will bounce straight down and back up. The transom is angled, so I'll need to measure the angle between the transom and 0 degrees vertical and build a special mount. So while I'm on the boat, here's step 1, measuring the angle between the transom and 0 degrees vertical. Okay, let's get our stuff together. This may or may not work, so I'm not going to spend a ton of money on a brand new transducer. So I got a used one off eBay, and here it is. Everything seems to be there, and it looks okay so far. Now off to Ace Hardware for the pole. I could go stainless or wood or aluminum. Aluminum is probably the best choice since I want the pole to be the weakest link and not the transom. So here it is. I'll have to cut it down to size, but that's not a problem. With that, I can now build the special mount and put everything together. So here we go. concludes part 1. In part 2, I'll mount the transducer to the transom, I'll do the calibration, and I'll do a static test here at the pier. And then for part 3, I'll wait for some wind, and I'll take her for a test drive. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Cut. Whoa. Jiminy crickets, did a bird just poop on me? Gosh. Did a bird just poop on me?